The algorithm is racist. Haven't you heard, guys? Hinge is racist. The algorithm on Hinge is racist. Hinge hates his mom, right? Whoever Hinge is. But like I said, you guys, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. So now Hinge is receiving backlash from Black women, accusing its algorithm of discrimination. No, I am not making this title up. This is just I'm just gonna press play. I'm just gonna press play.
Not all milkshakes.
And I was like, what?
Are bringing.
Oh, hold on for a second, man. Let me refresh. Let me refresh that. I'm sorry, guys.
All milkshakes.
And I was like, what?
Are bringing quality boys to the yard. Outrage on TikTok.
Hinge is not for Black women.
Very loudly not choosing us.
Black women calling out the dating app Hinge for putting their profiles at the bottom of the dating pool. It led some of them to change their settings as white women in the app.
Like, it was literally night and day.
And suddenly the caliber of men changed.
That's disappointing.
So the Shade Room had some single men put the theory to the test. What type of women does the app feed them most?
But when you first brought it to me, I was shocked.
Are Black women harder to get versus white women?
Let's talk about it.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
By the way, fair use. This, first of all, this title, before I continue, this is the funniest thing I've seen in a minute. Could certain dating app algorithms be discriminating against Black women? This is hilarious to me, but let's continue.
It's been a conversation for years now, the gap between white women and Black women when it comes to finding good men on dating apps. Despite a Pew Research study that found that Black and Hispanic women use these apps the most, many are saying that they're getting the least likes, and the crop of men to choose from are often slim picking. Not all milkshakes.
So there is a full 10-minute segment, which I am not going to go over right now. I will probably do a live stream on this particular subject, and we will go over the 10-minute video, which I haven't seen. This is only a snippet, but this is hilarious. This is hilarious. So I found this via a Black profile. So this is I found this specific Shade Room video because I wasn't on the Shade Room, but this particular I guess Black Instagram app for Black single people, he or she reposted this to show how actually ridiculous this is for Black women to be complaining about Hinge having an algorithm, basically accusing an algorithm of being discriminatory. So right here, this is from the Instagram app that's for Black single people that are looking for dates. So he said this must be a hit piece paid for by the Black dating app. So he says right here, he said, let's just skip the whole Hinge app settings discussion for a moment. He said, remember how back in math class we learned that a larger percentage of a smaller number is still a smaller number overall. Yeah, you're going to see more white people because more white folks are on the app. Just a random example to make it easy. If there are 10 million white women who use an app, which represents 30% of the total number of white women in America, and at that same time, there are 1 million Black women who use an app, which represents 90% of the total number of Black women in America, you cannot say more Black women use the dang app. They don't. Black women only make up 7% of the overall U.S. population. Other 6% is Black men. White people significantly outnumber Black people number-wise. Yeah, you're going to see more white people on the app, but all that is just level 1-ish. So in short terms, guys, there's only a certain amount of Black people just in general in America. So just by the, like I always keep telling people, by the numbers, especially if you're in a location when there's not a whole lot of Black people, of course, white women are going to be swiped more just off the numbers. Just off the numbers. Just off the numbers is it's ridiculous to have this conversation, right? But like I said, this is ridiculous. Now, I will say this because you're going to see in one of the comments, not just this one. I want to go back to the actual Shade Room comment section of the actual video, and let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I know this is probably a shortcut for me to zoom in, but I saw the perfect comment. Not necessarily y'all cry about everything. Damn, not that one, even though I And then shout out to this guy. He said, "There's black dating apps. Switch over. It's not that deep." That's what I was about to say. If you don't like the results and you think that the algorithm is quote unquote pushing you down, why don't you join a black? They literally have a black dating app for like black people. If you want that, even though technically that's kind of racist, but I digress. So right here, this is the comment I was looking for. He said, "Them women are getting matched. They just don't like the options that they are getting." And this is where I want to placate to. This is where I want to mold this episode around. When women complain about dating issues, I'm talking about women in general, not just black women. But when women complain about dating issues and I don't see any good men, I'm not getting any good matches, what they're looking for in their head, it doesn't exist. And they get shocked when they start looking at the statistics. They're like, why is it that the white women are getting more, like they believe that white women, it's not that white women are getting just more. It's not even about the more part. They just believe that white women are just getting better matches in general. So like I said, I always say this, all women are pick-me's. So you hear how women will make fun of other women for being quote unquote pick-me's. Guys, all women are pick-me's. And proof, look, this is the proof. This is all the proof I need to see right here. These are the same ladies that will say, I don't need a ninja. I don't need this. I don't need that. And yet they're crying about not getting picked. Literally, pick me, right? You're crying about not getting picked on a dating app and accusing the algorithm of discrimination. Now, if we want to go into the specifics of why the algorithm is not favoring you, let's start going into the dirty details. And this is where I'm going to switch back to here. Right? And you're going to see some of these comments. So this is where we're going to have to start having the uncomfortable conversation, right? Because remember, first of all, black men men in general have been telling you in this space when it comes to dating apps, dating, whatever. Unfortunately, black women are usually the least pick. Usually. I know people, these other people have been telling you otherwise. This is why men have been telling you, stop listening to Sprinkle Lady. Stop listening to these ATL. Me specifically, I kept telling women, but specifically black women, stop listening to women about how dating is. If they're from ATL, stop listening to them. They're just going to lead you astray. They're from ATL. ATL is Looney Tune land. Stop listening to them. The men over there is not a representation of what men are. They don't know. If you're talking about a woman from ATL, she doesn't know what a man is. So this is why you have a Kevin Samuels that was trying to tell black women to act a certain way and blah, 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 even though I believe he was wasting his time with that. So you had all this, basically, technically men have been giving women, but particularly black women, free advice on this end. But like I said, you want to listen to Sprinkle Lady, even though I find Sprinkle Lady funny, but she's not to be taken seriously. First of all, she's lying about a couple things about her life, and I'm not gonna get into it, but we'll just leave that alone. Because I know a whole lot of women out there personally that talk like Sprinkle Lady, even before Sprinkle Lady was a thing. I knew women that acted like that, but then behind closed doors, they was living a whole double life. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But anyway, let's go into the dirty details on why the algorithm isn't favoring many black women to be put on there. So let's get into the dirty details. So you see this top comment here. It says, is it Hinge or is it users who are filtering you out? Now this, this is where I'm like, this is so remember, so you see how like we were talking about the height filter, how like nobody was even putting, like there were more women searching for 7 feet tall men than 5'11" men. Remember that? So you see how like now once the roles are reversed, they're just like, this is discriminatory. This is this and that. Like you see how like now like now you got women, like there were women on here. I don't know if I can play. Let me see if I can play some of this video because I think a lot of this was switched around. Let me play some of this.
All milkshakes
And I was like, what?
are bringing quality boys to the yard. Outrage on TikTok.
Hinge is
Oh no, it might be still the same thing. But I remember I was seeing something where where they were saying that black women were saying they were changing their profile to white, but I don't understand how that's going to help anything because they're still going to see the pictures. You know, you're going to have to tell the truth, you know, eventually. You know what I mean? So if it, like I said, if it's that much of a problem, because you know, if men are filtering you out, you know, that's how algorithms work. I'm pretty sure there's, you know, unfortunately, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just telling you, it's probably a lot of young men or men in general, you know, once they go to the filter, right? You know, it was funny when it was, you know, men under 5'11", even though 5'11" is not short. Based to me, anything under 5'9" is short. And even then 5'8" is not short. But anyway, so when that was happening to these people, right? You know, and people didn't care at all, right? So then people were mad at men for lying about their height and whatnot. So now, when you talk about the algorithm, you have the option to choose by race. And even then, you're going to see the pictures anyways. But to skip that process, you can choose which race that you don't want to have. Now, I don't understand why, even if you're at the bottom in terms of algorithmic wise, I don't know why that's men's problem. It's not men's problem. That's not our, that's just, I'm sorry, that's just not our that's just not our problem. And for them to like make a big thing about it, that just shows you all, like I'm saying, all women are pygmies, all women. For this to even be a thing, because even if you believe it is a thing, just go on a black dating app. But we already know, like I said, women, they want to be in a position where they can be chosen by the top percentage men, no matter the dating app, no matter if it's seeking arrangements, right? I'm pretty sure if I do a little bit of research, I'm pretty sure it's not just the regular dating apps. I'm pretty sure they're like on seeking arrangement. No, but men don't be choosing us. It's the men's fault for not choosing us. I'm like, so now we got to choose you. Now men have to choose you. Men from other races, now they have to choose you. I thought y'all was straight. You know what I mean? So this is where the confusion comes in. And like I said, I don't think women understand how algorithms work. So I'm sorry to treat the general public like a dumbass, but I'm gonna have to do this real quick. Algorithm, and like I said, swipes also by the general public, that also influences the algorithm from other people. So it was probably a lot of, unfortunately, black women just getting swiped to, you know, X, right? I think to say yes, you got to swipe right, and to hit X, you got to swipe left. So unfortunately, a lot of black women were probably, it was hitting left on there, you know, and then on top, but you got to understand when it comes to preference, it's mostly good. It's just there's just too many of other races compared to one race of women, right? So there's mostly white women on there. So it's obviously there's going to be more white women getting swiped. And then on top of that, you still got the other races to deal with. Okay, so I mean, what can we do? So right here, the definition of algorithm, right? Algorithm, a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. A basic algorithm for division. So when we're talking about by a computer, this is non-biased, right? There's no agenda here. An algorithm can only be influenced. It's just going to go by the numbers. The algorithm goes by the trend, right? So there's no like what we talking about, an algorithm. This isn't master mode, right? From X-Men. This isn't master mode. This, you know, when we start just talking about an algorithm is an algorithm. There's no bias, you know. So if the algorithm is always going to placate to the user, to whoever's using the app or the system. So, for example, if you're on YouTube and you like to search up soccer stuff, that algorithm is going to placate to to soccer stuff. It's just going to show. It's going to even show you even recommendations, other soccer channels, other things related to that. Top 10 greatest soccer goals. Even though if you're a defender and you were looking up this, they're going to bring. That's how an algorithm, works. Like I said, I'm sorry to treat the public like a dumbass, but when I see a article like this, right, saying that accusing an algorithm of discrimination, like it's master mode from like it's master mode from X-Men 97, right? Or from the X-Men comics, like this is ridiculous. And somebody said there's a whole dating app for us. That's what I was about to say. But like I said, women want to be in the position where where they can be picked by men of higher value. This is why this is a problem. They're getting matches. They just don't like the matches that they're getting. so that's really what it is. But like now we got to change the rules again. We got to change everything else because you believe the algorithm is being discriminatory against you, but really it's just a public. This is why I didn't really want to make a channel where I'm talking about black women, because if I'm talking about it objectively, notice I didn't talk about attitude yet. I didn't even talk about hair. I didn't talk about mindset or any of this stuff. The only thing I mentioned was that I said that all women are pick-me's, and that's not even assigned to race. So I will talk about all of this objectively and just show you that guys are probably filtering you out with the search filter. I brought up the height thing when men were getting filtered out by height, and nobody, only other men cared, but now really women didn't really care about that. I show you all these things. These are just objective things. And then most men are, when you look at just the population wise, is, black women only make up 7%. So it can't be a surprise that they're the least picked, because already numbers wise, it's not favoring you. So that's all that I'm going to speak on. But the problem is when you speak on black women on YouTube, Twitter, then you're going to start seeing the barrage of comments. Oh, you hate black women. Oh, your mama is black, and all this nonsense. Oh, don't think white women are any better, cuz I'll be seeing that from the ninjas too. Like they really think that like like there's not black men out there that they act like there's not black men out there that don't know this, right? Or that we like, trust me, there are plenty of black men that understand there are pros and cons with dealing with different races of women. It's just a matter of what more are you willing to put up with if you're dealing with a specific race of women. That's really all it is, And even then, if you're a man that has limited dating options anyways, you're not going to put so much on the criteria on race. You're just going to put it more on personality. And hopefully you find a woman that respects you enough to not make you look crazy out here. So they act like we don't know this. And then it just goes all back to shaming language. And the problem is, because black women cannot be corrected, they can't be told that they're wrong. Now we got to deal with an article like this where now they're saying that the algorithm, they're basically accusing the algorithm of being master mode from X-Men. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But like I said, it's like it's never nothing that they're doing wrong. Like I said, so right here, somebody said, I thought y'all picked the bear. Now, I hope he understands that wasn't a black woman thing. That was an all women thing. But I see where he's getting at. There was a whole bunch of women. I'm talking about of all races, even though it was really mostly white women saying that stupid shit. But and Asians, right? There was just a couple of weeks ago, or just a month ago, we were talking about the bear. We'll pick the bear, and then but then the problem is, then in real life, something happens to a woman, and then somebody like, why the woman wasn't being protected? Why is she not being picked? Who's sticking up for women? And then it's like, just the other day, you were just saying that you would rather be stuck in a forest with a bear than a man. I mean, if you just keep saying that, men have feelings too. Men are sensitive. Like, not like me as a man, I already know women are going to just say stupid stuff like this. I expect them to say something idiotic to where I'm like, you just ignore it. Like, I already got the information from Batman when I was a kid, where, remember when Green Lantern was asking for advice on the broad he was dealing with, the Hawk girl, whatever, and he was just confused about how she was acting, and Batman literally came up to me, he's like, look, women are just, they're just gonna do they're just gonna do shit that just blows your mind, and you just got it. If you want to deal with women, you just got to deal with it. So we already know this. Right? So if we hear women say, if I hear a woman say, I'd rather be you there with a bear, we already, I mean, we just okay, you just whatever, right? But like I said, the stuff that women will say on TikTok, the stuff they say on Instagram, and what those women don't understand is a lot of men are very like autistic, and where they're really taking what you're saying literally, what you 304s are saying on Instagram and TikTok, and these think pieces why you think a bear is safer than the average man. Men are going to look at that and just be like, wow, I didn't know y'all thought of us that way. Well, okay, y'all on your own. Or if they see a particular group or demographic of people acting a certain way, they're just going to be like, well, okay, so that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Even though I would say those with the bear thing, that was more multiracial. That's what I was about to say. So Anthony Brian Logan, he says you can change your settings so it only shows you black women. The guys black women see after changing their race to white don't want them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just, unfortunately, it's not only just men swiping left, but I'm pretty sure men are in the filters they're just saying, I don't want to see black women there, which there's really nothing wrong with that. A man should be allowed to have a preference. A woman can have all types of preferences, so why can't a man? But we already know once that happens, now we gotta Hinge. We gotta accuse the algorithm on Hinge. We now we're comparing the algorithm on Hinge to Master Mode from X-Men.